What we're looking at is bok choy. I'm going to pull this one out. And I put this into the bowl beginning of December, so this is about 3 weeks. Yeah, almost 3 weeks old because it's the end of December now. But it already has a nice root base and some really nice healthy baby bok choy. This one I just put into the bowl 3 days ago, and I already have some leafage up at the top. Now if this continues to grow, which I'm hoping it'll survive, I'm going to put this into a pot, and maybe in the next month I'll be able to harvest this and have some nice bok choy. Well, here's the bok choy 1 month later. It looks really nice. It's still in the bowl. And let's just pull it out so you can actually see the roots. So it's got really nice healthy roots. So I'm going to put it back. You're going to have to water this. If you do this, you're going to have to put water into it probably every second day. And when you water it, don't put it into the bowl. Actually trickle it onto the top. And then it'll get some nice moisture around in the crown. That is a month. Now this guy that I started, when was it? Maybe a couple of weeks ago. He's still tiny. And no root is forming yet. It may take a while. The one thing though is that I put this into really bright sun and it's starting to bolt. This one here, it's not bolting because I didn't have it in direct sun. And I thought, oh, I'll put this guy into the direct sun, but it doesn't work so well because now it's bolting, and bolting means that you're starting to get a flower on it. And once it flowers, the bok choy turns more of a bitter taste. You don't want to eat it. So I'm just going to take that crown out. So I'm going to take that. It's like a flower. So eventually this will bloom and it'll be a yellow flower. So I'm going to pull that out. And hopefully I won't get any more bolting, and then I'll just put it into a place that's not as bright. But here is actual bok choy that I bought from the store. And this is it here. And this is all I use. So I cut the bok choy, and I'll cut it to about here. Then I just put this into the water, and it ends up to be the baby bok choy. And then once I harvest this in the spring, sometime in end of May, I'll plant this into the garden, and then I'll have more bok choy throughout the summer. Reviving an orchid. My orchid, it was really limp. It had no life in it. It was actually really droopy, and I took it out of the pot, and all the roots had died on it. Thin dish, you don't want deep. And I cut, here, I'll just pop it out. I cut this out, like all the dead stuff off of it, and I left it like that. And I just popped it in the water. And if I turn it around, this has been in there for a week. Well, there's a root. So that's a pretty good sign. And the orchid itself, the leaves, they're nice and strong again. But this has also started to grow in the last week since that root has formed. Now the water, it is right up to where, let's see if I can get it. See where that root is? The water is just touching that root. So I've got it all popped in there. I had it at first just touching the bottom, the very bottom of the root with just a real shallow pit of water. It wasn't working, so I just filled it up. I said, you know, what do I have to lose? And I've got a new root. I've got a new shoot coming out of here. So I'm going to come back in about a week and let's see how that root grows, and let's see what's going on in here. Okay, the orchid, it's still in water, and it has grown quite a bit up in here, so which is really nice. And the leaves are really nice and stiff. Let's pull this out. Another root is forming, and there's the second one, so there are now 2 roots. I haven't looked at this in a couple of weeks, but there we go. This right here has grown. Okay, what else do we have? Okay, that's growing. Got a new tip here with this leaf, and that's just in water. And every now and then I just put a drop of plant food into it. So here's that pretty bouquet of flowers that I got, and I let them dry. They were still in the vase though. I didn't let them dry out of water. And once they ended up like this, a little bit dry, I cut them and then I stuck them into soil. And look at that. So hopefully I am going to have maybe a few rose bushes. I'm hoping so. And one thing that I should show you though, if I can reach for it, when I did cut the rose stems, hey, this pot, I cut the rose stems, I'm just trying to figure this out. Well, you know what? Let's pull one out. Why not? There we go. So, okay, found a measuring tape. And here we go. It's in inches, so you're gonna have to, if you do millimeters, you have to figure out inches, but yeah, let's do it from there. So I cut it about 4 inches. And then what I did, I took this guy, some root stimulator, and then just took this, stuck it into the root stimulator. You can still see some of it on here, and so now rather than trying to force this in, take a wooden stick, or in my case wooden spoon, and then put it in, twist it around, make sure you're right at almost at the bottom of the pot, pull it out, now put that back in, just damper it around. Now put it into really bright sun, because you do want bright sun, and keep this wet, like not just moist, but make sure you keep adding and adding water to it, because you want to make sure that you've got a good base underneath, because if you let these dry out, chances are it may not root. Unless you have a high humidity place, you might be able to get good growth out of it. But I'm keeping them right now super wet, so I'm probably putting a cup of water in almost, well, a cup of water every 2 days. And this is already starting to grow. So I'm looking forward to possible rose bushes.